Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, March 30th, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Thousands of Vincentians came out on Saturday night at the Calico playing field to celebrate with the ruling Unity Labour Party its 14 years of governance. The event heard addresses by party candidates and area representatives and also featured several local performances. Jamisha Wright was there and files this report.
The education revolution is doing well for our nation.
It was an event geared at celebrating the accomplishments of the ruling Unity Labour Party's 14 years in government, and many are of the view that the event's objectives were met. Minister of Agriculture and Area Representative for South Central Windward, Sabota Caesar, told the farmers and fishers here that the ULP government continues to work in their favor, having now secured $12 million to further boost the agricultural sector through the Farmer Support Company.
Farmers, this government is your government, and you are going to vote for this government in the next general elections to ensure that it is returned to office. I see many young persons who are here tonight, but I don't only want to see you here tonight. I want to ensure that you show your voting finger tonight and that you register tomorrow if you're already 18.
ULP candidate for the North Leeward constituency, Carlos James, thanked the Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves for giving him the opportunity to learn even more under his guidance.
We have to put ourselves in motion for an election that is going to be the mother of elections here, a historic photo for the Unity Labour Party.
ULP's candidate for East St. George, Camilo Gonsalves, made the point that while he is not running against anyone, he is happy to share with the people of SVG what he is running for.
I am running for the opportunity to represent and serve the people of East St. George and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I am running for the opportunity to ensure that Ralph Gonsalves remains the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I am running for the opportunity to strengthen and advance the good work that we celebrate today for the ULP's 14 years in office. I am running for the Unity Labour Party and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I am running for, and I am running for.
And the Central Leeward candidate, Sir Louis Straker, says Vincentian must return the ULP to office for another term, as great things are going to happen in the next 5 years.
I hear some foolish talk that they're saying, oh, if the Labour Party builds the international airport, we would finish it or we would manage it. And I asked them, if Arden Eustace had the Peace Memorial Hall in his constituency and he allowed it to run down and couldn't do anything with it, a couple $100,000 he could not provide to rehabilitate the Peace Memorial Hall. Ralph had to come in and do it for him in his constituency. How could he manage a big project like the international airport? I don't know how you can put confidence in an nincompoop like that to say he could be a prime minister.
And party leader, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, was given a premium welcome to the podium by young Calypsonian Glitter Chris. Reporting for SVGTV News, I am Jamisha Wright.
Meanwhile, PM Gonsalves commenced his address at the anniversary rally with the presentation of reading material to past and present and also prospective members of his cabinet, as well as new candidates and former candidates of his party, as a show of appreciation. Dr. Gonsalves spoke of what he termed the Ralph app, which he explained is representative of achievements in policies, politics, and personnel. Prime Minister Gonsalves stressed that SVG is undoubtedly better by far than what it was in 2001.
More people employed today than ever at any time in the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have over 40,000 jobs, people working. Over 40,000. In 2001, it was not 34,000. So we had over 6,000 new jobs in that period. In the previous 10 years under the NDP, and this is without any global economic crisis, this is without the 5 major natural disasters. What they did was to have an employment of just over 1,000 persons in the period from 1991 to 2001.
Prime Minister Gonsalves also addressed the issue surrounding the payment of rent for the building, which houses his party's headquarters at Morris Road. He described the incident as a mischief, adding that he is still baffled as to why the media received a letter about the outstanding rent of over $100,000 before it had reached the party's General Secretary, Julian Francis. However, Prime Minister Gonsalves says his party's headquarters I beg your pardon. We take that again. Prime Minister Gonsalves says his party's headquarters is not going anywhere and that they are now holding talks to purchase the property.
Because last week, Tuesday, the person whom Julian was paying rent to for the office, he paid a substantial amount of money and told the man that by Monday or Tuesday, whatever the arrears will be paid. But I want to tell you this. Nobody do mischief on the comrade like that. We had an agreement to buy the property. Today I spoke to the gentleman who owns the property. And the Unity Labour Party will be buying the property.
And the Prime Minister has again hinted to Vincentians that the general elections are near. At Saturday's rally, he said the election date has already come to him and he knows exactly when he will be advising the Governor-General to dissolve Parliament.
I know when I'm going to dissolve the House. And I know when I'm going to ask the Governor-General to have the writ issued for the election date. But not yet. Not yet. Let us hear their confused conversations about all kinds of subjects. Let us hear they tell the people what policies they're going to bring, because up to now they are none. They have no compelling narrative. Opportunistically, they try to jump on the woman issue. You see this? This is an assessment of the women. We had the Caribbean Development Bank do it. We're implementing all the policies. And we have done, since 2001, extraordinary work in this area.
It is the right of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to be able to have confidence in the candidates elected by the people's vote. That's according to Attorney at Law and President of the SVG Human Rights Association, Nicole Sylvester. She made a comment during Sunday's Hit Talk program which looked at how democratic is the selection process for candidates to contest the general election. Sylvester said that so far, in terms of democracy within the political parties, the people seem to be left out from some important decisions.
We need to see constitutionality, democracy being practiced by any of the parties, be it the Unity Labour Party, the NDP, the Green Party, all the parties in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We need, as part of the electoral base, to have confidence in the selection process of candidates. And I would simply pause to say that at this juncture, that the way in which the candidate, say, in Central Leeward was selected, it certainly is not in keeping with what is expected in a democracy.
According to Sylvester, she finds it worrying that in a democratic society, the political parties ignore the feelings of the people, which is generally a bad reflection of how the party will reside over the citizens if elected.
And certainly, as a member of the electorate, I would be concerned, because that taint, as far as I'm concerned, will definitely lead into governance if they were to be successful. And what it does is that it says, is it that the leadership of a particular political party would have the right then to select who he or she wants around them, irrespective of the views and the feelings of those who are members of that particular political party? And is that the type of governance that we expect in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? I think it's a very worrying trend indeed.
And journalist Kenton Chan says that he has a few concerns regarding the manner in which all of the political parties go about their preparations for general elections. He says there needs to be a greater level of transparency and openness in the selection of candidates, as well as within the political parties.
I would like to say from the onset that I have a number of concerns about the manner in which candidates are selected, or candidates have been selected or are being selected by both of the political parties. I think that there needs to be a greater level of transparency, openness, and involvement of the people who are supposed to be involved in that process, who are supposed to be responsible for selecting candidates. However, as I noted, political parties have to make calculations and decisions that they see in their best interest. And the most probably that we can do is to contrast what their practices are with what they say it should be in principle.
Chance further states that since SVG is a democracy, then it is only fitting to expect this democracy to be exemplified through its government and the electoral process.
One would imagine that since St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a democracy, and most elections of any kind, be it a member of a club or an MV, is done using democratic principles, that candidate selection in a political party is also a democratic exercise. I think that stands to reason. It is important, however, that we try to find out what the constitutions of the various political parties have to say about candidate selection and contrast the realities to what the documents say. It is only a matter of time before they begin, at least to my mind, to take a more assertive stance as regards what happens in political parties, including candidate selection.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Human Rights Association has described the release of private information of Keturah Cupid as abhorrent and despicable. In a media release dated Friday 27th March, the Human Rights Association said that this was also an indirect contravention of the Privacy Act Cap 162 number 18 of 2003 for an individual to disclose publicly the passport details and other private information of another person without that person's consent. The release further states that to disclose such information other than in a manner directly related to the purpose for which the information was collected was also an indirect contravention of the Privacy Act Chapter 162 number 18 of 2003. The Human Rights Association says this is a flagrant breach of the Privacy Act of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it requires a thorough, transparent and independent investigation of all persons involved. On Friday, the opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, called for the resignation of communications consultant in the Prime Minister's office, Elton Crick, for releasing such information. The NDP says it considers the action of Crick as a grave interference with the woman's privacy and a gross breach of that right which is conferred on every citizen under Article 12 of the UN Declarations of Human Rights. The party also called for a thorough investigation into how the information was acquired and said anyone who breached her rights and compromised her privacy and security must be held to account. Keturah Cupid, better known as Kate, was one of the women who spoke of her abuse at the recently held consultation on women by the NDP. The OECS Council of Agricultural Ministers has agreed upon a 7-step plan to enhance the agricultural sector. The framework of this plan was outlined by OECS Director General Didacus Jules following the conclusion of the first Council of Ministers meeting held here on Friday. Dr. Jules said one of the first initiatives is a public sensitization drive to help change mindsets and attitudes about the agricultural sector.
That the issue of food security and the changes that need to be made for the revitalization of agriculture are not decisions that can be taken in a bureaucratic manner. It involves it will necessitate substantial change of mindset in the public. We have grown up with a fallacy, or over the last few years we have assumed a fallacy in our mindset to believe that imported is always better. We need to recognize that now increasingly people are growing organic. There are a lot of health issues associated with some of the imported junk foods that we are bringing in. And from the perspective of job creation in rural areas and in the agricultural sector.
The Director General says a number of national consultations looking at the agricultural plan of action will also be spearheaded.
Stakeholders, we're talking about the public segmented in particular ways. The supermarket owners, the tourism sector, the general public, the schools, the traders in agricultural produce and food. All of those persons need to be very closely engaged and to be sensitized to what we are proposing for the agricultural plan of action. This activity at the national level will be spearheaded by the respective ministries of agriculture, but we hope supported by ministries of health and education. And of course the OECS Commission and the Agricultural Task Force will be assisting in each member state as these consultations are held.
Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar has reiterated the need for consumers to be more locally and Caribbean devoted when shopping. Minister Caesar says if the plans being carried out by the OECS Council of Ministers are to truly work, the OECS people must support the farmers and various local and even regional manufacturers. He says with such support from patrons, they will in turn give support to job creation and help reduce the deficit on the economy of member states.
In futility, I'm asking of the supermarkets, the shops, the traders in all agricultural commodities, the housewives, to rethink the issue of purchasing, having first and foremost in your minds to buy local and buy sub-regional. As we speak about a single economic space, we must appreciate and understand that buying local now means buying sub-regional.
This country will continue to play a leading role in international relations. This was expressed by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves at a press conference earlier today following his return from Morocco, during which this country established diplomatic relations. Dr. Gonsalves says many do not realize the importance of formulating new diplomatic relations while building on traditional ones, and his initiative to broaden outreach will be beneficial to SVG.
All the new initiatives which we have been taken have been subject to criticism by persons who do not fully appreciate the importance of these engagements. And our reach out is part of our exercise in self-mastery, not only as part of not only as the nation of St. Vincent and Grenadines, but as part of a Caribbean civilization, as made manifest institutionally through CARICOM and also through the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, in which it is now well established that we in St. Vincent and the Grenadines play very important and leading roles.
PM Gonzalez announced that there will be an exchange in training and development with the North African country. He explained that several nationals from Morocco will arrive here to give instructions, while some Vincentians will also go to Morocco to receive an education.
The people from the Office of Vocational Training and Employment will be coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to meet with our people, and we'll do follow-ups. They want to do training of trainers there so that we can train more people here in particular areas, and we will also send students there. In relation to the training of trainers, there will be shorter programs, obviously, and they will have specialized persons who speak English who will train us, training of trainers. But for the longer programs, the 2-year programs, our students would have to be there for 3 years, because they'll have to immerse themselves in 1 year of French.
A 3-day workshop began here earlier today at the St. Martin's Secondary School for teachers under the STEM program. The Science, Technology, Engineering and Math STEM program is spearheaded by Petrus Gums. The program is geared towards exposing students and teachers to new and interesting ideas and different techniques all related to the computer. Addressing the opening ceremony of the workshop, Principal of the St. Martin's Secondary School, Wendell Edwards, says that the STEM program is vital to the education system, since it is important to incorporate information technology into classroom learning, which would overall make the job of educators easier.
Information and communications technologies have stimulated much interest in our education system and business sector, especially over the last 10 years. In fact, a lot of the technology is in the hands of our youth already. We need, therefore, as educators, to be abreast of the times and be educated in information and communication technologies so that they could be incorporated effectively into our teaching.
Edwards further noted that when used appropriately, ICTs are key factors in making teaching and learning into an exciting, engaging, and interactive process that is connected to real life.
Our education system must continue to support and develop these technologies. We must continue to seek support from other government ministries and the private sector, as they will benefit tremendously from our graduates in the medium and long term. Please give generously. Together, we have a nation to build. We must realize, though, that the successful integration of ICTs is a complex one and must be managed properly.